ahead by 25,000
Okay, I'm recording.
points.
If my
He
Discord
maxed out on level
crashes,
24,
then it's GG.
one level sooner than Quarion did, and proceeded to match his 8 Tetrises afterwards. And while Tyler didn't use a webcam, it seemed that he too was hyper-tapping.
OBS does
He
not
was
want
able
me
to
to
get his
upload to
pieces to
YouTube.
fly across
Wait,
the
was
board.
Moodoo's?
Who on earth was this guy? Were his scores
question.
faked somehow? Nobody
Louis
knew for sure,
Scuti.
and the top players
Louis
had a
Scuti
variety
mentioned.
of opinions. But there was nothing in Tyler's gameplay
I
that
thought that was
screamed it
colors
was
for a
fake.
second.
The circumstances were
24.
just so weird. A legend from
Yeah,
the
Louis
90s,
Scuti secretly made it to colors back in.
coming back and crushing the competition. The story sounded too insane to be real. Well, months down the road, the truth came out. Tyler's scores were 100% legitimate, but he wasn't a real person. Tyler was actually the ultimate one of the best Tetris players in the world. He was the teenage
E flat?
Joseph Saelee. Joseph came onto the Tetris scene in 2017
Dang it.
and spent hours watching
Isn't that,
the
like,
game's
not
2
confirmed,
best
though?
players, Jonas and Quarion.
Whatever, it's fine.
He learned a lot from
I don't
them,
think
and Joseph's skills
Joseph
rapidly
being
improved.
Tyler's confirmed.
By
I thought it
March
was like a
2018,
shared
he
account.
achieved his first max out. By September, his score was up to 1.15 million. In less than a year, he had become a world-class player. However, there were still a handful of players who had a better score
I
peak.
thought he needed like.
But a few months later came the 2018 Classic Tetris World Championship. Joseph entered the tournament and played beautifully, defeating opponent
Yo,
after
Andrew
opponent,
G.
making it all the way to the finals. And
Bowser did
surprise,
nothing wrong,
the
what
other
the
finalist
heck?
was Jonas,
Wait, what
the
did he just say? Good
seven-time
luck to
world
you?
champion.
Getting
was heavily
rebirth.
favored
Oh.
to defeat Joseph and take home his 8th title. But in a shocking twist,
Huh.
Joseph
I know, wait,
smacked
Sonic
Jonas
Salt. I
Bro,
know.
Miles is
3-0.
live. Miles has 14 viewers. He's on the grind. Oh, I'm not sharing screen.
Joseph Saelee was now a world champion.
Do I need
But
to share
despite
screen?
that,
Is it fine?
he didn't have the score.
No, I'm
You're
watching.
watching? Okay.
That
Okay.
still
Yeah.
to Quarion. So, in early
Quarion's so
2019, he made an effort to take it. First passing 1.2 million, then 1.25 million.
What are
But he
you
still
eating?
remained a
No?
bit
I
short of
have
the
like
record.
pretzel chips.
And that's where he decided to have some fun. Joseph started streaming attempts to an alt account and built up the
The
Tyler
viewer count
Peach
is
persona.
gonna be
And even
equal
though he
to
didn't
the
do many
world
attempts
record.
there,
Summoning
ended
Salt
up
raids.
breaking the
Miles the
world
great.
record.
Miles.
So
Miles
he
the great.
decided to roll with it before
Don't raid
eventually
whoever's
revealing
live.
that he was behind it all.
Wait,
Alex.
Salar watched.
Joseph had them both.
Alex or
the
someone will probably
championship
go live.
title and the score record. But even beyond that, Joseph
Wait,
had
this means
one
we're gonna get, like,
specific
the reaction
skill that
videos.
no other Tetris player had.
Remember?
He could actually
this is so
play
cool,
full
dude.
screen.
Yeah.
Joseph was a hyper tapper, and a very good one at that. He moved pieces quicker than anyone else. The kill screen kicks in on level 29, and in September 2018, Joseph became the first person
Why not?
to make it.
Wait,
to
why did he not put that
30
piece over to the left?
video.
The.
A month later, he
Yeah, why
became
didn't he just
Jay.
hyper
to
tap
level
faster?
32.
I don't know.
It
Well,
was
he-
amazing.
Oh, is it
He's-
a
Kill
possible
screens are
flip?
not.
He opted out of a 4-tap and tried to hit a 5-tap.
He couldn't go for long,
But, yeah.
legitimately clearing lines.
That binding just hit a 5-tap.
He was even outsmarting the developers. Upon reaching level
What?
30, the game's level
Outsmarting
counter
the
appears
developers.
bugged.
Outsmarting the
These programmers
developers.
did
He
not
made a
expect
new
anyone to
piece.
make it there. Joseph was doing what was thought to be impossible. But as impressive as this was
it
wasn't
Ryan
enough
Amber
to get the score record.
Oh, did they
Joseph would
ping him?
still have to maximize his Tetrises earlier to really rack up the score.
Yeah.
And not only that, but he wasn't the only one gunning for the world record. Harry Hong and Quarion, 2 previous record holders in the category, were interested in trying as well. And
Bro,
so,
Quarion
it became
deserves a
three-way
1.3.
race between Harry,
he should have
Quarion,
one by
and
now.
Joseph
It's
for the
annoying.
first 1.3 million score.
He just keeps
in
getting
Tetris.
crapped out on like
Harry was the first. to
28.
strike. In August 2019, he got a new high score of 1.275 million. This was
Right.
short of the 1.298 world record, but those who thought Tyler
Oh, I
P
guess
was
he's not counting
cheating
the
considered
Tyler
this score the official
counted.
world record. Still, it didn't reach 1.3
Oh, because the
million.
1.314 was a
Harry would have needed one more Tetris before
Yeah.
the kill screen to push him over the top. Instead,
Harry
maybe
watching?
Corion could get the 1.3.
No way.
He was the more
Let me
recent
check.
record,
Atsu.
his personal best remained at 1.273 million. Perhaps his hyper tapping
No,
skills
he's
would be
not.
enough to get him there. In November,
Who else
Corion
is, like,
had a
famous
great
that, like,
game
watch
going.
play?
He got a max out in level 25, then landed 7 Tetrises, pushing his score past 1.2 million. After getting another Tetris, Corion was in
Jesus
position to
watching. I mean-
crush his PB and maybe get
Just mean
1.3
he's
million.
just ready to
If he could just
compete
get
at, like,
one
No,
final Tetris.
Corion.
Corion.
He could have actually set up there and gotten 1.2. Well, then he would have had 1.29, which would have really sucked.
Or 1.296. We still would have had world
Corion got a
record.
massive
Or world
long bar
recorded.
count.
No.
Couldn't get the last Tetris he needed. But of the 3 players, the one with the best chance at 1.3 million was Joseph. He'd already gotten 1.298 million on the Tyler account. He only needed a tiny improvement to get him there. Well, that
Okay, if he had just flipped the T.
nearly the exact
He just-
same position
actually,
as
if he would've just
Corion.
stacked better.
A max out in level
Yeah.
25.
If he was just
and
Noah
needed
Dangler.
one more Tetris for
If he could've
1.3
rolled.
million. This could be it. But the long bar had to come in time.
Oh wait, we can't spoil rolling.
Yes!
Yes! And then he gets the next one.
Oh my god!
I've watched this video so many times.
Yeah. Oh my god!
Oh my god! Oh, Jesus Christ!
Joseph already had 1.3 million, but then he landed a Tetris on the kill screen.
Tetris on the
This move was only possible with good hyper tapping, not DAS. This gave him
Oh,
another
that's
36,000
slow-mo.
points and
Yeah.
pushed him past 1.35
Like how you
million.
replaced it.
It was the first time anyone had
Indeed.
ever gotten substantial
Okay.
points on the kill screen in a record, and it raised all sorts of questions. Was this move realistic to replicate? How many kill screen points could you get? And since he was past 1.35 million, could Joseph get the score record to 1.4 million? This score would have nearly
Okay,
set
does he
impossible
mention the
weeks
unre-
earlier.
Surely.
But now, there was
He
a
probably
blueprint.
does. I mean, he
We'd
mentioned
already
the
seen Joseph
Tyler
get
1.3
1.3 million points going into the kill screen. If he could land a few
Surely he
Tetrises and
does.
get 100,000 points on the kill screen, that would be enough for 1.4 million. Joseph was the only player who could realistically do this.
True.
And a few months later, when the
Nobody
pandemic
else
hit,
will ever get
he
100.
decided to fully commit and make a push for the 1.4. This was going to be an
I mean, didn't he
intense
get like
grind.
D98 or
Joseph had to
something?
maximize
On
points
right before.
everywhere.
No, he got D90 flat. Like
Yeah,
D90.
One thing,
19
he
world
decided to
records.
start on level 19 rather than 18.
Oh,
That meant
this is
the
the-
pieces fell faster, but it also allowed
So,
him to rack up
this
more
is when
points. Potentially
he got 3 world records in one day.
more than
And it was, like,
starting on
back to
level
back.
18. And Joseph needed
The 1.39 and the 1.4 were back to
couldn't
back.
afford to burn lines.
this was
He had to nearly
Peak JD.
exclusively go for
When he got, like,
Tetrises
nearly
to maximize points.
1.4
Yet,
back to
as
back.
tough as all this was, it was actually the easy
Yeah, it's
part
kind of
the grind.
stupid. Even if you get the best pieces, that is still
Only
Like-
Alex could replicate
Joseph could
that
score
today.
1.3 million by level 29.
Nah.
That's just his
But getting
29.
the last
The only
100,000
tapper I could think
this
of is, like,
was brutal. As fast
Maisie if stacking got better.
the kill screen
No,
was
Alex
still
should
the kill screen.
absolutely.
You're not
Wait, I'm talking like
gonna win.
other people.
Oh.
And Joseph
Maybe
run after
Sid-
run
Dylan.
after Dylan get this far.
Yeah, Dylan and
Dylan.
1.4 million.
could Sidnev?
The
Could
stars
Sidnev?
align.
I don't know. I think
Well,
Sidnev would go to
that
aggro.
June, Joseph would get a chance.
Well, you sort of need that for 1.4 basically into 29.
Well,
Just shy of 1.3
Alex definitely
million
has
points.
the best chance. 'cause
He'd
he
been
has
here before.
For 829.
Now, he
Well,
had to
no,
make it
yeah, just because he has Burr.
Mm-hmm.
Fast tap.
I mean, have you seen Dylan? It's insane.
Yeah, Dylan's stupid. Oh, oh, ah! Ah!
Oh! This,
Bro,
I
not the
forgot-
S
Forget
pieces.
how much 29 this had.
Oops.
No, he rotated the wrong. I literally just saw a way that rotated and
Record,
it peanut.
but
Ah,
Joseph seemed to
hell.
barely care. It was still 25,000 short of 1.4 million. This game really
So
illustrates
close,
the
dude.
dilemma when playing on the kill screen. Do you try and keep your stack low to survive as long as possible?
Oops.
Or try to rack up points quickly by going for Tetrises? Eventually, Joseph found a solution. Why not just get to the kill screen with a crazy score so you don't need that many points?
Wow.
That's so. Never thought of that.
69!
Dude.
You got it, you got it.
Oh my god, dude. Shut up, Noah. No.
No. No.
It's not good.
That's not good.
No. Record though. Dude.
This pace was insane. Even scoring just one
Miles
Tetris on the
mentioned.
kill screen would have been enough for 1.4.
Yeah, I really think you
Joseph
should have
didn't
set
survive
up.
long enough to get a Tetris.
Wow, yeah.
He topped out just 10,000 points short.
But like lining out for
Clearly, he was
30k
closing in on 1.4 million.
is.
It seemed like it could be just
Ooh.
I
days
never
away.
tapped, so I would not know.
Well, on
I
June
tap. I think
14th,
I'm like
2020,
slightly slower than Joseph,
started
maybe
the game
around the
at
same.
18
I mean,
rather
I'd
than
assume
19,
you probably just
and
want to
set
try
a
to set
score
up.
of 1.384
Yeah.
million.
Does he mention
This was
it?
the highest ever score from a level 18 start, a notable achievement.
Is he not
So,
mentioning the...
Joseph stopped
unrecorded?
recording on OBS
Oh,
and
yeah.
uploaded the video to YouTube.
Oh god.
But
Mhm.
then he forgot to
Is he
hit
gonna mention the
record
Miles
again
recording
and
the audio?
continued playing for the record. Joseph was oblivious to the fact that his gameplay wasn't being saved. And hours later, he allegedly achieved a score of 1.439 million. Obviously, this game can't be viewed today. He was streaming it to a Discord call though, and one of his friends was recording the audio of said call, where you can hear people
Miles, great!
at what Joseph was
Miles.
doing.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? 1.4. Oh my god.
But there's no video to go along with this.
I like how it's just
According
Miles
to
yapping.
testimony from those who watched it live, this was a crazy game in the kill screen. It allowed him to
Let
blow
this guy
past
talk.
the 1.4 million barrier, but only a select few were able to see it. And even though there's no recording, Joseph knew what he had done and had accomplished his goal. To this day, he's still never gotten a 1.4 on video.
Breakfast noodles is in. No way.
For a strange
Breakfast
context.
noodles.
Everyone knew the record was 1.4 million, but it technically wasn't official. It would still be a big deal the first time someone achieved 1.4
April 1st, 2021.
That July, a player named Scotto Bozo tried
April
using
1st,
RNG
2022.
manipulation to crush the world record. He was able to use a cast to predict which pieces would come
Scotto.
and plan ahead
I
accordingly.
like how this is just
However,
us
his score of
spamming
5 million was
This is.
quickly deemed
Yeah,
to
this
be
is
different
just
category.
like.
So, the focus
This
was
is
back
just the
on
Tetris community having fun watching.
And while there were many new players getting into the game,
Eric
one
likes the
stood
noodle.
above the rest.
Frame dump, take a mech.
Dog playing Tetris.
Dog
Wait.
playing Tetris.
In June 2020,
Dog playing
he was the
Tetris.
second person ever to achieve a score of 1.3 million. He was trying to
Wait,
get
he
1.4
100k
million
PB
alongside
jumped. He
Joseph.
almost skipped
And while
1.2.
Joseph
That's
stopped
crazy.
playing after his unrecorded 1.4, Dog continued trying. He was perceived as the most
Didn't he get,
likely
like,
person to pull it off.
D98 or something.
Dog was a hyper tapper like Joseph, so he had the ability to
How
pull
can a dog
high
play
on the kill
Tetris?
screen. And by that fall, his score was up
The
past
Ren-
1.35
Is that's
million.
no, that's a
He
Tetris
was
player.
closing in,
Ren's
and his
here,
next
that's
PB could be the one.
Tetris person.
In
Yeah,
October,
yeah.
How do you
Ren's
do
here
without
too.
he managed
phone?
to get a max out early in level 24. This was definitely on pace for
I'm
1.4
so happy.
million.
I don't have to go to school
But the
till
Tetrises
10
kept
tomorrow.
coming, and
so
by
I'm
the
gonna
time
stay
he
up.
hit the kill
Lucky.
streak, his score was already
Well, it's
at
'cause the
1.367 million.
Doing
He only
things.
needed 33,000 points.
The 9th and 10th graders are doing what?
Dog playing
Tests.
Tetris
Yeah,
had
tests
to hold
tomorrow.
it together.
When does your school end?
Like time or day? Like what do you mean?
Every day.
The 6th of June. I'm skipping the last 2 days for CTWC.
Oh,
He missed it.
your school doesn't end this Friday?
This was still a
Wow.
high
No.
score, but not enough to break 1.4. Even months
There's some
later,
kids around me whose like schools are ending in April.
4 million
What?
on video.
But then they
Like,
start
ago.
Getting to level
they
29
start
on
school in
Tetris
like
and
July.
then getting enough
Oh,
points
that
on
would
the kill
suck.
screen was just too much to ask.
My school starts in like August
Max
8th.
out claims from decades
that's like-
prior. Even though a
isn't,
1.4 million
Ohio
score
the
had
day
very
after?
likely happened,
Isn't it the
there was
9th, I
still
think?
no video.
Yeah, I don't think I can go to Ohio just because
It
that.
remained
Go
a
to
nearly
Cleveland.
impossible
gaming-
score
Cleveland
that
gaming
existed
profit.
only
Okay,
for Legend.
so if I want to go to
Now,
Portland,
you might
I
think
can't
this is
go
all a
to.
build up to someone finally
is it like an
breaking
either
through.
or?
But that's not
Yeah,
what
because
happened.
But
that's not being paid by the documentary, so he
Much
just like.
bigger was brewing in the background.
Yeah.
While much of the
The what?
community was
France
focused
was
on
probably the
trying
last
for
one. Well, no,
1.4 million,
CWC.
little did
Yeah, technically
CWC
CWC is being
Tetris
paid.
Pokey nerd.
about to go through
Pokey
a
nerd.
revolution.
Fucking nerd.
Everything was about to
Okay,
change.
I need to be in the rolling montage. Surely he does a rolling montage, please.
Cheese.
For years, there had been
Fish.
two ways to play NES Tetris: DAS
Blue.
and hyper tapping.
Milestone.
DAS was certainly easier, but hyper tapping had higher potential. That's how players were able
What?
to get points on the kill screen. Well, by 2020, the game's demographic at the top level
Eric.
had shifted
Not
younger,
really.
and virtually
Eric.
all of the new
No, I'm
top
watching
players
someone.
were hyper tappers.
What?
In fact, during that year's
J Games
Classic
2.
Tetris World Championship,
Can I,
all of the players in the top 8
stay
were
up a
hyper
little?
tappers.
We're watching
It
the
had
live
taken
thing.
over at the top level.
I don't have to
But
wake
as
up till, like,
dominant as
8
this
a.m.
technique
tomorrow.
was, it was quite difficult. Not many people could
Yeah.
mash that fast while still retaining good
Exactly.
control. It limited the number of
Oh, is that
record
flat?
contenders. Those who could hypertap sometimes developed arm
Can I
and
just go to
hand
bed when
issues.
this is over? I don't know.
Hypertapping was
No, no,
powerful, but it was still far from an ideal technique. So in
Oh, that's Eric
the
ICX.
game's new generation
Maybe Alec. Oh, that was just 27. I thought that was 37.
You're
The
welcome.
leading theory
Bye.
was to try using multiple fingers instead of just one. Gaming legend
Alright,
Flyhack
bye.
had a method for using 8
Adrian
fingers
Wu!
on our
Adrian
keyboard,
Wu!
letting him mash up to 30 times per
Okay,
second.
bye.
He also had a
Adrian
modified
Wu
method for
mentioned.
the smaller buttons of an NES controller. However, Tetris players had to mash the D-pad, and they struggled to
Flyhack
adapt
isn't in chat.
either of these methods. The D-pad seemed to simply be too
Bye.
small to use multiple fingers on. They needed a bigger button.
I'll say bye
That's
to
where
my
a
mom.
player
Bye.
named
Bro, Flyhack!
Cheese found something brilliant. He watched Flyhack's videos
Summoning
and a
Salt
matching
put
video
himself in
from
the video.
Silverboxer, and then
The
combined them
animation.
into his own technique. If the NES D-pad was too small of a button, why not use the entire back of the controller
Summoning Salt in
as
his
a
own
button?
video. No way.
By resting a finger on the D-pad, you can
Cheese
roll your
video.
fingers along the back to push the controller
Did not
into
think
it
this day would come
repeatedly.
where the cheese video is
This
in.
allows you to rapidly press the D-pad up to 4
Five.
times, or 5
Is
times
this,
with a
is
thumb at
this
the
just gonna be
end.
a copy of
That's
the
just enough to move
highlight?
any piece to the
That would
far
actually be really
left or
funny.
right, and you can reach speeds upwards of 20
Fractal.
presses per second.
Fractal.
Twice as
Fractal.
fast as hyper tapping. It's also much
Fractal.
easier on the hand and arm.
Lotion!
Allowed for much more precision. As soon as Cheese found this technique, he knew it had the chance to break NES Tetris. He had just discovered Tetris's third playstyle, rolling.
Rolling.
Rolling!
Clearly had the most potential of all three techniques, it was also quite
Tetris
tricky to learn.
Oppenheimer.
Even though Cheese had discovered rolling, he struggled to use it for the first few months.
That
But he
face.
still had a head start.
Arm wide open.
Eventually, he started to get good with it. By early 2021, he was using it whenever he reached the kill screen. And it quickly became clear that he was able to do things that
Ah, the
nobody
misbar.
else could.
Easy
Cheese
one
wasn't
from
just
three,
playing on the kill screen. He was thriving. The best hyper tappers could last a few
Drag Boom
levels on
Cannon
the kill
ripped
screen.
mentioned.
But with rolling, Cheese found himself making it all the way to level 40. And remember, the kill screen kicks in way back at level 29.
Nah, Alex T's
Simply
better.
put, the kill screen had lost
So
its
has not seen
meaning.
Alex back.
It no longer marked the automatic end of your game.
Doesn't he know?
At least if you were
W
able to
Raw
roll
Nation's
like
raid.
Cheese could.
Wait,
By
easy shout out, easy shout out.
mid-2021, Cheese had the potential to take the score record. And thanks to rolling, his
Easy shout
strategy
out,
was
bro.
much different than those who came before him. His emphasis was less on maximizing points before the kill screen, but rather going as deep as
Oh, I
possible
rated it. I'm
on
on my
the kill
alt
screen
channel, bro.
while landing Tetrises.
Never mind.
This meant he wouldn't need such a
Ew.
crazy score
Give me
going
2
into
buckets
level
of coal
29.
needed.
If he could then last long enough on the kill screen, He